Dave.
Questions?
How do you kind of walk the tightrope of getting your guys ready to play physical tackling football but not get hurt during ball game?
You scrimmage, earlier on. You have a lot of your tackling earlier on, and as you get closer to the game, you have to do it in, situational things where you're not having big body pileups. I mean, for us, we have tackling circuits, where that's what you're working on. And we had a scrimmage, we had a second scrimmage, and had a couple short yardage goal line type things. But after that, I mean, you got to be really, really careful.
Does that change much for you over the years, like say from your first year in Northern Illinois?
I've learned as I've gone. I think I was fortunate. I learned at Montana. I had a head coach there named Joe Glenn. He said, you can't win the race without your horses at the gate, and so you got to understand what do they need until you can prove that they're ready. And once you've seen enough, then you back off and keep them safe. We practice full speed. You guys have seen how we practice. So, I mean, there's a lot of contact out there, but the minimal bodies on the ground is kind of the goal. You just don't want to see anybody in a pile.
You spent the last 8 months preparing for this game. I mean, how ready do you feel like your team is now at this point going into Saturday?
Well, there's a lot of unknowns that we have to see. I think we're doing everything that we know how to do to prepare our young football team. We're excited to see these guys play, and really that's what we need to do now. We need to go out there and compete and see, who handles game day the right way, who needs to get better. And sometimes a guy will show himself that, hey man, this wasn't something we saw in practice one way or the other, and you got to coach through it. But I feel good about the preparation we've had for the game, and now it's time to see him execute it.
Coach, going off along that, you've talked at length about the youth of this team, and there's a lot of redshirt guys who are here, but what have you told them this week as far as what to expect with not just the first game, but the atmosphere, because it's going to be crazy with all the ECU, NC State fans?
Well, one, we told them to enjoy it. That's why we work so hard, is to have an environment like that, and they've earned that. But not to let it get into your head. You have to be able to let that go, run through the tunnel, enjoy the atmosphere, and then focus. Get the call, whatever it may be, lock in on your keys and go through our progression of playing the game. But I want them to enjoy the atmosphere. I mean, that's one of the things that makes NC State and Carter Finley so special. We have that here, and not many people do, and I can't wait. I'm really excited for our fans and our students and everybody to be out there and enjoy the atmosphere.
Can you talk a bit about Bam Knight's progression from when he arrived on campus in the spring to now?
Yeah, I mean, Bam is, as you guys have seen in our spring game last year, he's a top-end speed running back. He's learned our offense. He needs to play a game now too, but he's not thinking as much as he was. And, I think for him, it's just having a little success will help him, confidence-wise, and you could say that for most of these freshmen.
How versatile is that entire running back core? Obviously,
Yeah.
really young, but you have a lot of different pieces that you can do a lot of different things with.
Yeah, and right now I don't, really know which direction it's going to go. I mean, we have some confidence in the two returners, and Ricky and Trent, but we have a lot of excitement, with Jordan Houston and Zonovan because of their playmaking ability. And so we got to get those guys in the game, see how they react, and we have some plays for those guys where you'll see multiple guys in the game, and we're going to have an opportunity to evaluate them and look forward to seeing what they do.
Coach, you mentioned talking Monday about Holton Nailers, and he's a guy that throw the ball as well as he's not afraid to run it and tuck it. What's kind of been the game prep for him coming into Saturday?
Well, we know that he's a left-handed quarterback, so you expect a lot of the movement stuff to go to our right, his left. We know how competitive he is. I've told our staff and our team how much I respect him as a competitor, and I know how important playing in games like this is. Having been a head coach at Northern Illinois, when you go up against a Power 5 team, it means a lot, in that locker room and with that coaching staff. So I've talked about that, and I know Holton's the face of their program now as their quarterback, so he'll do everything he can to help them.
Are you curious that, I don't know if he'll have 80 passes and runs like he would last year? Are you kind of curious what their approach will be? Will it be more James Madison-ish?
Yeah, I think, anytime you start with a new staff, even though we've played them, it's new personnel for them to coach. There's a feeling out period in the game, and whether they're going to use him as a true runner a lot or whether it's just going to be here and there, short yardage and red zone. So we'll have to feel out kind of what they want to do. I mean, we expect the James Madison system and how much true QB run game or read game that goes along with it, or RPO game. I mean, those are all things that they've done there.
Does this feel at all to you in year 7 for you like a second phase of your tenure here, so many young guys,
Yeah.
and the success you just had the last 2 years.
It's similar to when Bradley and those guys were first getting on the field. It's different in that we have a lot more, I guess you'd say, guys that I recruited in the program, whereas that was still kind of mixed, But the youth of our program is similar to that. So, going through that again, I guess there's a lot of similarities because you're feeling some guys out for the first time. But a roster full of guys that know our culture, know our expectations, were recruited into our systems, and there's comfort in that.
One of the stats you guys were really good at last year was not having many missed tackles. How much do you emphasize that with the different things you guys do?
Every day. I mean, it's something, the two things that you'll see from a back end standpoint every day in our practices is going to be tackling fundamentals and taking the ball away. Those two things are paramount. And, every single day we're working a technique, and we're doing it with our special teams players as well. Whether it's an inside out, an outside in, an open field situation, a sideline situation, just putting them in as many of those as we can, and then making every drill where they're doing the same thing, tracking the near hip and playing with good balance. And good tackling defense eliminates a lot of big plays, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in.
So good guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
See you Saturday.